Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 18 of Chips and Talk. Grab a snack, let's chat. I believe it is episode 18, the latest is 17, so my god, we're reaching to episode 20. That's crazy. That means that, well, right now, as of now, it means that I've been doing this for 18 weeks. That's insane. I mean, it sounds like a lot, it's only really once a week, but it's still work. I have to put a light in front of my fucking face and talk to you. Jesus Christ. But thank you so much for joining me, whether you're new or you're old. And whether you're on Apple, Spotify, or on YouTube. I really appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, though, you're pretty special, okay? My YouTube channel is superjesusjackson. That is the channel name. And I have plenty of other content there as well, in addition to this podcast. But you also get the podcast in video form, so you get to see my beautiful face. But if you're not on video, don't worry about it. You know, you're driving, you're jogging, you're going to work, you know, very important things, and you listen to me there. Thank you so much. Audio form podcasting is obviously where it originated, and it is amazing. So what we're going to do here, for those of you who are new, Chips and Talk is what it sounds like. We literally get some chips, a snack, ice cream, nuts, and then we talk about a random thing that I pick on the internet. Well, I don't. That's a little contradicting, isn't it? A random thing that I pick. No, it is a random thing that generates on randomgenerator.com, or randomtopicgenerator.com, that is. And then we discuss. It's a beautiful, beautiful system that no one has ever came up before with. And again, yeah, we snack as well. But really, I also want to know what you're snacking on, you know, because this podcast is totally that. You know, you could be doing something, driving to work, jogging, exercising, but you could also just be relaxing, eating, drinking a cup of coffee, whatever. So let me know in the comment section below what you are munching on. I would love to know. And what am I going to be munching on? Nothing. That's right. In Chips and Talk, we sometimes eat nothing. And that's because, I'm a sort of busy guy, so, you never know. I never know what that is. You definitely don't know. But, I never know, when I'm going to eat, when I'm not. Things change at all times. So when I'm full, I try not to stuff myself with snacks just because I'm recording. So I hope you understand. But you still get some ASMR, which is also one of the reasons why this podcast has hit 2 million listeners a month. That's right. That was a joke. But manifesting, you like that? You like that? ASMR. Oh, yep. I hate it, but I love it at the same time, and I'm trying. Yeah, we're in focus. Okay. All right. So, without further ado, I mean, I hope you're doing well. I really do. I hope you're having a fantastic night, fantastic morning, fantastic midday, fantastic afterlife if you are dead and listening to me right now. If you're a ghost in my room, thank you so much. I love you. Here we go. Let's see. All right. So let's get started here, shall we? Random topic generator. Oh, God. See, okay. This website is really good. Sometimes we get some really good philosophical discussions, and then other times it gives us some basic-ass fucking questions, like this one. What is the most comfortable piece of clothing you own? Who the fuck cares? What is this for? Like a fucking date? Like when you're going on a date with someone and you don't know what to fucking talk about, so you're just like, what's the most comfortable piece of clothing you own? God damn it. Look, when I get these types of questions, I did it with my girlfriend, actually, the last episode, or 2 episodes ago was with my girlfriend, I believe. She's calls herself Slim Shady. And when we get these sort of terrible topics, we sort of just, kind of bullet fire them, you know what I mean? Just, or rapid fire, that is. God, fucking, what's wrong with me? So, what's the most comfortable piece of clothing I own? Honestly, nothing is comfortable for me. Everything annoys the shit out of me. Really, I don't think anything is comfortable. I think our brain and our bodies just get used to it, and then we just are fucking fine with it. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing that's comfortable, you know? Like really, in all the sense of the word. I mean, maybe socks, but no, even socks can be fucking annoying. You know what I mean? Like, you ever had sex with socks on? It's annoying, but I do it. But I don't know, a cotton shirt is one of the most comfortable things, but see, like, I feel the shirt, you know, and if I focus too much on the shirt, it annoys the shit out of me. Pants especially. A belt, don't even fucking think about it. Although, I will say one of the most satisfying things is to put on a belt and have it, like, be perfectly fit to your waist. Like, that's great. It feels great. When it's perfectly tight, you know, not too loose, but not too tight, that's what she said, it's great. It really is. So, I think that's one of them for sure, but shoes, socks, shirts, fucking anything is fucked, really. And maybe in colder weather, for sure, things are more comfortable. Right now, we're heading into the fucking hottest, we're getting into the hottest, we're getting into summer, so that's, you know, nothing is really comfortable at this point right now. But unless you count bed sheets as clothing when it's cold as fuck and you get in your bed. You get in your bed. Here we go, different topic. Blah! Did your family take seasonal vacation? What the fuck? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a shit? Do you care about my family taking seasonal vacations? I like how it's specific to it's seasonal. You know, I gotta give it to them. You know, it's not just vacations. It's just seasonal. Ugh, way to fucking stir up the conversation here. Am I a little on edge? Just a little bit. No, I never fucking took vacations with my family. You know, when I was a kid, I was lucky to go to Disneyland with my sister's family. And like, it wasn't even my fucking family. It was my sister, you know, so no. Thank you for fucking accessing the darkest fucking deepest secrets and deepest darkest fucking shamelessness things that I have in my... No, it's not shameless. Shameful. Shameful. Thank you for accessing those shameful memories in my head. Thank you so much. I'm ashamed, okay? When I have my child, they will most certainly be able to go on any fucking vacation they want. Disneyland, Universal Studios, Legoland, Hersheyland, Mario Land in Japan. All the lands, they're doing it, okay? Because I didn't get to do it as much, really. Again, the only time I really fucking did it was with my sister's family, for God's sakes. Her husband's family. Her in-laws. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I love you, Mom and Dad, but, you know, you should have stepped it up a little bit. But hey, we also didn't really have a lot of money, so there's that. I understand. I understand. But, you know, you do other shit. You know, you take your kid to the park. You fucking take him to the beach, you know. I mean, we occasionally went to California. I occasionally, rarely went to fucking Mount Charleston. Did that a couple times here in Nevada. You know, but that's fucked. You know what I mean? Who the fuck? Who's like, oh, I'm going to go to the place that's like 40 miles from my house as an adventure, as a vacation. You know, when you think about a vacation, you know, my fucking God, you know, Belize, France, Italy, Morocco. None of that shit. Next topic. What is something that really annoys you, but doesn't bother most people? Oh, this is good. We're getting into some good shit now. Let me tell you this. Okay, this is something that my girlfriend and I, this would be a great conversation for my girlfriend and I, but she's not here. She's in my heart, but she's not here. One thing that annoys me the most, or one of the most annoying things to me, is when I'm talking to them about an unfortunate event in my life or something that's happening to me in my day that's terrible or good, and the other person, especially when it's bad, when it's a good stuff, it's fine, but like when I'm trying to vent talking about bad stuff, like, and the other person, like, you know, fucking says something that's related but not the same, obviously it's related, and they just like say it. I know, I completely understand that probably most people have good intentions with that, and they're just trying to help you, sympathize with you in a way, right, help you get through it, right? But to me, I do the complete opposite when someone tells me something bad about them. I just listen to them. I sometimes don't even fucking, I mean, I say I'm sorry, but sometimes I even fucking, you know, think about not saying sorry because, you know, here's the thing. People try to do the behavior that they wish other people did. In other words, you want people to treat you the way, you know, you want to be treated, right? that's fucking, what the fuck, what is wrong? What am I doing? No, it's you treat people the way that, you want to be treated. And so I when I say something, I don't want someone to I just want them to listen, say I'm sorry. Just sit there, fucking comfort me. You know what I mean? Just be there with me, just fucking, and even that annoys the shit out of me, just because I'm such a pessimist, you know what I mean? But when you start fucking yabbering about something that's happened to you or, how it's related or, you want to, it just doesn't, I understand the intention and I understand it's good, but I'm not a fan of that. It's not how I roll. But, being with my girlfriend, I'm sort of kind of forced in a way to sort of understand that other side. And I'm starting to see it slowly but surely. I'm trying to respect it as much as I can, even though it's really difficult. But, I don't know. Does this bother a lot of people? I feel like it doesn't. Honestly, I feel like this really ties in with the question here, right? I think this is just what a lot of people do. I don't do that. I really don't want to do that. But I will say that there probably is quite a bit of people who do agree with me because, on social media, you see all these fucking posts and shit like that, oh, when people tell you about their depression or anxiety, don't fucking try to say oh, it's like what happened to me. And this, that's not how someone, that's not what people like, So, it might be 50-50. There's plenty of people that are like the people that I mentioned, and there's probably plenty of people as well that are like me and don't really like it when other people try to talk about something that happened. Now, granted, a lot of those people who do that, they shit on the people who go to the extreme, and those people are obviously out of fucking commission for me. Like fuck those people, you know what I mean? Who fucking try to up, the scenario that you're talking about or whatever, or try to maximize their suffering over yours. That's the fucking worst. For sure, I would take the person who's trying to somewhat relate with me by mentioning a scenario that is sort of, similar, but not exactly, and they know it, and they do mention it, they're it's not the exact same thing, but I understand what you may be going through. That, I would take that any day over someone who's just trying to one-up me, And honestly, to the former people's credit, there's a way to say anything almost, sometimes it's not about what you're saying, it's about how you say it. So that's probably 90% of the time. So I'm trying to be more open and not as judgmental, but when I'm having a bad day, when I'm talking about something that's happening to me, the last thing I want is someone to mention something that happens to them or people they know that are similar to what I'm going through. Number one, it's not the same. Number two, I don't give a fuck if it's similar. Number three, just comfort me, say I'm sorry. If you want, I don't even need that sometimes. Just comfort me, just be there for me. And just say, this must be, awful for you. This must feel terrible. Just fucking say things that would comfort the other person. Say things that would validate the suffering of the other person, and what they're going through. That's what matters. Mentioning other scenarios, mentioning other people, it's not worth it. It's just not, doesn't do anything really. Now granted, that's not to say that every person should accommodate to you all the fucking time. I understand that, which is why I'm trying to be a little bit more open. And when someone mentions something about someone or a similar situation that's similar to my suffering, I have to understand that, look, they're just trying to help me in a way. But I also know bullshit. Everyone is out for themselves. I know that 100%. It's just a matter of how much you do it. Everyone's fucking egotistical. Everyone does things to fucking stroke their dick. Everyone does that, in every fucking thing that they do to some degree. So, it just pisses me off when it's a little bit too much, or, I don't know. It's just, even when it's not and they don't really mean it that way, it still bothers me, and I don't know. It's going to take some time for me to accept it. Might never accept it. I don't know. And for my girlfriend, it's interesting for her because I'm the opposite, right? So she's trying to understand me, So I guess at the end of the day, that's all that matters, Try to understand the other person, and you might not completely correct your behavior. You might not fix it forever, but as long as you understand and you try, that's what matters. And I do believe that at the end of the day, someone doesn't have to change, I guess ultimately, or maybe sometimes with some things, but, for the most part, as long as you try, as long as you're aware, acknowledge, then you're fine. So, But that's an understatement because I'm a pissed off motherfucker. Anyways, next topic. I wonder what I'll call these. I'll probably call these wild topics or wild card. You know, that's what I'll call it. Here we go. Do you like horror movies? Why or why not? Good question. Good question. I love horror movies. I think, in fact, what I love more than horror movies are horror video games. But horror movies, well, I don't know. I think horror movies, I don't know. I mean, they're both art, video games, and movies, but I do think that horror movies, I don't know, I could go either way. I'm trying to think of what's harder to make, a horror video game or a horror movie. I think it's a horror video game, I think, but a movie still is, obviously, well, it's difficult to make any fucking movie be good. But when it comes to horror movies, I love them because I love tackling the very thing that we fear the most in this life. You know, the things that make us fucking anxious and make us, you know, egotistical and, yeah, like, just horror movies really touch on the flaws of all of us, right? And it really, also you can grow, you could grow inspiration from horror movies in a way, but horror movies tackle our deepest, darkest, you know, fears. And I love that. It's courageous, I think, and I think it's one of the reasons why a lot of people like horror stuff, goth stuff, you know, thriller rides, you know, and haunted mansions. It's a way for you to sort of, you know, tackle your fear and kind of build courage, you know, in a way, while at the same time stroking your ego because you know that nothing's going to happen to you when you watch a horror movie. You know you're safe. So there's this, you know, it's a suspension of danger and mortality, you know, with horror movies, that is, and with anything that's sort of dangerous, like fucking, you know, skydiving or whatever, you know, in a way, like, we like this shit because there is a room of comfort. There's a space where we know we're fine and we can subject ourselves to some of these scary things because at the end of the day, we'll fall perfectly fine. We'll land safely, you know, and I think that's the thing with horror movies as well, you know. I mean, The Exorcist, what if, that's my favorite horror movie of all time, but imagine if The Exorcist, like, you watched it and you actually were possessed. Imagine that. That's fucked. No one would, maybe a few people would do it, but I fucking sure as hell would never do that, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's a thing of like, yeah, we know we're not going to get possessed, but also, we get to, it's not entirely that, of course, you know, it is a little bit of like, okay, well, I know I'm not going to get possessed, but like, it still fucking almost goes there, you know, like, this shit is kind of fucking really, it's really going near, like, going very near my fears, you know, my deepest fears, and it's to the point where you almost believe it. And I think that's why movies in general are so effective. You know, when you think of Superman, you know, the slogan was, "You'll believe a man can fly." And, you know, a lot of kids who watched Superman when they were young, they'll tell you, oh my God, I believed a man could really fly. And, you know, when I watched The Exorcist, I believed almost that a person could really get possessed. Well, when I was a kid, I really did believe it. But as I started growing older, of course, I got more atheistic and whatnot. But, you know, it is a very powerful art form, the movies, and when you combine it with horror movies, which, again, combines danger and fear, it's just a concoction for a human emotional roller coaster, you know? And I think that's super effective. And you know, and I also think it's really difficult to make a horror movie, you know, because it's super easy to just, you know, resort to jump scares and resort to bullshit ass fucking CGI that's scary, and you're like, oh, like It Chapter 2, for example. I believe that's the one, you know. There's this one scene that I thought was really effective, but it was because they blended effects and scenery and like the way that the scene was shot in a perfect way. There was this one shot where like this fucking long-legged limbed woman, like it was supposed to be gonna be like a grandma. It was this dark room, and then she fucking came out in like these long ass limbs, and she was tall and fucking gray as shit, and ugly, and she grabbed onto like the entrance of I don't know, she was going into the living room. She was in another room. And it was dark in that room, but there was no door. It was just like an open, fucking passageway, right? And she just fucking came out, and like out of the darkness into the living room, and it was fucking terrifying as shit. Now, granted, there was some music, I think, or not, I don't remember, but the imagery was terrifying, it was disturbing, but because the scene was shot so well, she came out of the darkness and we're already inherently scared of the darkness. And so it was super effective. When you think of The Exorcist, that is just the perfect example of pure effect, like being to the nth degree, okay? To the scariest shit ever to the nth degree. The voice, the fucking makeup that's practical and realistic. The green vomit is really more just disgusting and disturbing than it is anything. It's not necessarily scary. But it's really what the character's saying, the fact that it's the devil inside this woman, it's being possessed. And just, again, the dialogue and the way the scene is shot and the priests and the fear, the way that the actors portray their lines, they're scared, shitless. Everything makes sense, and it's really... Sometimes it's the way that things are executed that's why it becomes scary. It's not really the product. It's not really the topic or it's not the evil that's really scary. It's the way the evil is executed. You know what I mean? And because possession and devil shit and evil shit wouldn't be anything if it wasn't executed in such a disturbing and horrific way, whether it's through special effects, through dialogue, or through performances by the actors and stuff like that. So, or the way the scene is shot environmentally and stuff like that as well. So I love horror movies. I think it takes a lot of balls to make them because, we've all seen bad horror movies. There's a lot more bad horror movies than a lot of good ones because it's so difficult to make a horror movie. It's just easy to resort to nonsense and like just things that are not, it's just cheap shots, you know what I mean? And that's the thing, that people bitch about the most, jump scares. Well, of course, you know what I mean? Of course. And there's only a few movies that really, and they have to play the themes right. They have to play the build-up correctly. Horror movies have a lot to do with build-up and climax. And, that's really almost every movie, really. But no, I respect horror movies and horror video games even more if they're able to do it. I think that's, in a way, that's a little harder to do that because you're really hands-on with the material and you can lose the player at any moment. And that happens with movies, too. You can lose people in movies in general. But horror movies, also, one of the reasons why they're so fucking successful not successful, but why they're able to scare the shit out of you is because they use, obviously themes that are inherently, scary to us from biologically in a way, from the very beginning, Horror movies use a lot of contradiction. For example, Child's Play, with Chucky. Some people think it's kind of a joke movie. I think the first one and second one were actually decently scary movies. I thought they were really good. They were really good as movies, and horror movies, I guess much less so because of just the fact that it's a fucking doll. But I thought it was still, like, if you were going to make a movie about a killing doll and you wanted to make it scary, Child's Play 1 and 2 is the best that you could possibly ever get. So, but that movie, use a doll. Everyone is familiar with dolls and toys. We think of them as our friends, and obviously, the fucking little doll is like, hey, I'm Chucky. You're my friend till the end. Like that is part of its way of manipulating people. But and hiding itself, hiding its true horror. And so that's scary to us, and that's why Annabelle and The Conjuring use dolls and toys and shit like that, because when horror and in a way that's also true with demons, right? In the mythology, that they tackle the things that you care about the most. They possess the things that are the purest, And so that's kind of the thing with the doll, and with toys and with children's stuff. That's why clowns, movies like It, work really well, because clowns are supposed to symbolize the complete fucking opposite of horror, right? Happiness, joy, glee. And when we see them fucking be distorted, it's creepy as shit, dude. And same thing with Chucky, right? And that's also why exorcism movies, possession movies, movies about the devil really are effective, because religion is thought to be this purity in our society, right? That, you know, you're fine, you know, if you're religious, you have God, everything's on our side. But when things go the complete opposite way and the devil is introduced, it really fucking makes people tremble, you know? Like, it's just philosophically terrifying for people, and, you know, also physically terrifying as well. It's manifested through the possessions and the weird shit, the weird symptoms and shit that we see. And obviously, horror, like The Exorcist, for example, when Reagan was fucking levitating, the air, that's what's effective as well, is completely fucking going there. You know what I mean? Like, the supernatural, you know, aspect of it is fucking terrifying. And that movie is really the prime example of horror being used in a supernatural way and in a practical way. You know, some horror movies rely too much on the supernatural, and I would say most probably rely more on practical shit because it's what's terrifying the most. You know, even something like the Texas, even something like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know, that's terrifying. And, you know, and also horror movies, also part of them are based on real fucking things. Based, that is. And then when they make the horror movie, they fucking not glamorize, they exaggerate everything to make it even more fucking scary and terrifying. But, you know, but it's a perfect mix, you know what I mean? Like, and horror movies usually are the best when they stick to more to practical and grounded storytelling. Although supernatural aspects, especially in demon possession movies, exorcist movies, you know, some supernatural things may take place, and that is okay because, you know, we're dealing with things like God and the devil and supernatural things in general. So, it makes perfect sense. And if I think about it, there was this thing that I think someone on YouTube in a comment section, or I don't know what it was. I think I mentioned it. I talked about The Exorcist, one of probably the best scene in the movie, when she levitates, on my YouTube channel, and I said something like, this is so effective because the devil, you know, is the one, like, the devil is inferior to God, and so what the devil does is tries to fucking, you know, tell you that he knows more than God, and tries to show you, it tries to flex on you, right? Tries to have Reagan fucking levitate to show, I am superior to God. Your God doesn't make you levitate. Nothing. I am making things levitate, making things move, making things fucking hit you in the head, you know, just fucking, that's how it works, you know, moves by itself, you know, it fucks with the practical and the physical world in a way that God doesn't, right? And that's how the devil shows his power and superiority, because he doesn't have the divinity, you know, the righteousness, the majesticness, you know? And so and God can do all those things, but God has restraint, you know? And that's the beauty of it. And that is why horror movies can be so fucking effective and visceral, philosophical, and deep. But that was Random Topic Generator. Do you like horror movies? Why or why not? And also, it was Chips and Talk, episode 18. Thank you so much for being here with me today. It was a pleasure talking to you. Again, let me know what you ate, what you didn't, what you're doing right now. I'm a fucking stalker. That's terrible. Hope you enjoyed this conversation, this wild card conversation, if I do say so myself, rapid fire conversation. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this content, and leave your review as well on the podcast platform of your choice. Have a great day.